What's up, everybody? Um, Fico here, and just wanted to give a brief vlog of a huge monument, this milestone that has occurred today. It's been about a year in the making, and it's not a big deal per se. I mean, it's not a really like, did I manage to conquer something sort of deal? I mean, this is more like a personal thing that I have been just putting off, and let's get right to the point. Last year, around March, I saw The Hunger Games. It's a movie that the only thing that caught my eye about it was that Jennifer Lawrence was in it, and I didn't know anything about the Hunger Games. Turns out I didn't even know that the Hunger Games were based off a book that like is loved by teenagers who read these books everywhere. It's a book that is apparently it was very popular. I've never heard of it. I'm not much of a reader. I watched the movie, and I really, really like the Hunger Games. In fact, I think that's the very first, if I'm not mistaken, that may have been the first movie which I've actually recorded myself giving my opinions about. So there is that. That's also a very important movie that I watched. Uh, like 2 weeks later, I'd like to say 2 weeks after I watched it, or I actually was in Barnes and Noble, and I bought The Hunger Games. This book, I bought this uh, around the time when the movie came out. I would like to say maybe at most maybe a month after I watched the movie. I was kind of just like curious about how this book was, and I I had not. I mean, let me put you this way. I don't read books. I mean, you see all this. These are strategy guides. Some over here. These are comic books. So, like, taking a book like with words, only words, no pictures, reading it from beginning to end has been this arduous task. This thing that I have just never done. I've never gone to a bookstore to buy a book and read it from beginning to end. Well, a year later, I was reading this book, chunk to chunk to chunk to Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 374 paged book. This is easy. This is a teen level book. This is a scholastic book. This thing, I've heard people, friends of mine, said that they read this in 2 days. That they read this in less than a week. That it took them a week at most to read this. In fact, I have a friend, my friend Ann said that she read the entire three-book series, this one, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, all in a span of like 2 weeks. Like, really? 2 weeks? This thing took me a year to do! And today, this morning, during my slow shift, I actually finished this book, and I just had to ramble and talk about this because you know what? I over the course of the year, I've had, I think, more conversations about me trying to be a better reader, trying to find books that that like suck me in. Noah, he has you mean if you see him, you wouldn't think that guy had a knack for reading books. He's like one of the most immersive readers you will ever see. He's got the entire Wheel of Time. I didn't even know what the Wheel of Time series was. For those of you who don't know, Wheel of Time is a bunch of freaking books that are like yay thick, tiny little like words. I mean, it's a drudge. It's a mission to read, and he's read every single book. I mean, the last one came out and he read it, and I mean, let me tell you something. People who can read a lot I gotta say I admired. I've always wondered people who can just take a book and read it. And the thing is that the key is that you have to find a book and a story that'll immerse you. You have to come to the realization that there's going to be a lot of character development because you can't see what the characters. You can imagine them, but you can't see them. So they have to talk a lot about the characters. They have to talk a lot about the scenery. They have to talk a lot about the story. They have to talk a lot about everything. They gotta give you as much details as you can because they want to immerse you into a world, and it's hard to do when you haven't been brought reading books this much. So I wanted to read a book. I told myself I was gonna read this book, and it took me a freaking year to read just this book. And pow, finished, read. And I have to say, I really, really liked it. I really liked this novel. I mean, there's a ton of details from the movie that are in here that they didn't go over in the movie, and I understand. I've always understood why. You can't put all this detail in a 2-hour movie. It wouldn't be enough. You would need 3 hours to make that movie. And I don't think that Hollywood thought, I mean, they knew that they had a big thing here. They know that the Hunger Games was popular, but I don't know if they knew it was like this epic thing like Lord of the Rings. You could make a movie like that and get all that detail crammed up and make it a 4.5-hour movie, and we'll watch it because it immerses you. Seriously. I would say that the book to the movie, it's about 80 to 85% accurate. If you see the movie, it would say it's about 85% accurate. I would say the accuracy that is missing is the details they didn't go over here. Like, I mean, they talk a lot more about the games themselves, the punishment. They mentioned the story, but here they really go into detail. They go into detail of the districts. They go into detail a little bit more about the tributes. This book is entirely told from Katniss's point of view. This is a first point of view. So this is all in first person, and Katniss narrates the whole thing. This is a teen-based book. But let me tell you something. I enjoyed this book, and the funny thing is, this is gonna come off as very, very funny. But I'm just gonna say this, and you probably are just going to go like, I am getting Catching Fire. I'm getting the next book. I am getting the book. I am getting it this weekend. I am going to get it somewhere, and I am going to put myself a goal. And I'm going to read this book in the month of June. The Catching Fire. Now, let me just say something right now. If it takes another year to read that book, please encourage me to stop reading, because I honestly, I mean, I got this comic book thing going on now as well. Tons of comics that I gotta go over, but please tell me to quit. Tell me to stop. Or I've been told that it's normal that some people don't read. They're not that immersive compared to other people, but seriously, 374 pages should not have been this much of a challenge. But me being a video gamer, watching movies, and going out and just constantly putting this off again and again and again. Well, I will tell you, this book, I really, really did dig it. It does leave you wanting more, and that is why I actually want to read Catching Fire. And after that, I will get Mockingjay. And then, my goal for Mockingjay, if I read Catching Fire, and it takes me less than a month to get it, I'm going to get Mockingjay, and I'm going to commit myself to read it in 2 weeks. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to commit myself to read that book in 2 weeks. I'm gonna give myself a month to read Catching Fire. If I finish fast reading Catching Fire, I'm definitely coming back and talking about it because, whew, that got me excited. And to get a bookmark, because you want to know what I use for a bookmark? The receipt. This thing, it isn't even a receipt. This is more like a. You may also like Catching Fire, Mockingjay, Unwind, Graceling, and The Compound. This thing has no date. But I'm keeping it in there because this is like epic. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. The books follow up, and I will just definitely let you guys know how that book is. I'm definitely would like people to let me know in the comments what they thought of the Hunger Games, the book, not the movie, the book. And if you wanna just share what you thought about the differences between the book and the movie, you can do that. But I'd like more discussions about the book. So if I read more books, I will post my comments below. In fact, I was thinking of just going over like these things, and if I read them, maybe just offer my opinions of them as well. So, but I've read a couple, so I do have a little bit to catch up. So, anyway, guys, you have an awesome day. I gotta go to work in a few minutes, so gotta start getting myself ready. So, take care, guys. Happy reading. Freaking year, man. It's not right.